Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
That's what I'm talking about. All of today's guests, including Ross Tucker, standing by, brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. As we bring in Ross from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Sports, and Westwood One. Ross, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am fantastic. Always great to talk with you, gentlemen. I think, trying to remember, I got an order from myfrontpagestory.com from somebody out there, and they just wanted a birthday shout out for their brother. I thought that was lame. I'd much rather be ripping Rick or do something a little bit more risque. But anyway, the offer still stands. myfrontpagestory.com. Best gift you can ever give a loved one, whether it's your spouse. I actually think everybody should get them for their parents or their grandparents if they're blessed to still have them. Yeah. myfrontpagestory.com. I can pretty much guarantee they will cry tears of joy and happiness, and you will cry tears of laughter after you forward me the email receipt, ross@rosstucker.com, and ask me what you want me to say about Rick Dollywall.
Yeah. And you've got the whole segment here. It's still a lot of time left to rip into, Rick. Hey, Ross, I love it when you talk about this sort of thing. You worked the Navy versus Air Force game on Saturday, 34-31, Navy victory, Annapolis, Maryland. What is it you like so much about those events?
Oh, geez. You know what's crazy, Donnie? And I don't know if this is how I would be otherwise, or it's because my grandpa was a career captain in the U.S. Army and my mom was an Army brat. So my mom was actually born up there near you guys in Fort Lewis, Washington.
Okay. Wow.
In the Pacific Northwest. Then she graduated high school from Fort Knox, Kentucky. So I have a tremendous appreciation for anyone that makes a decision to serve in the military, because obviously they're taking a risk, and they're probably doing it primarily because they think it's what's best for them, but they are absolutely sacrificing, and their families are, for the rest of us, so that we can live this awesome life, which I love so much. So it's really cool to call those games because, as you guys know, a lot of divisiveness in the United States, in the political arena. I intentionally, and I don't know if this is the right way to go about it or the wrong way to go about it, but I'm not like this in other aspects of life, but I kind of am a ignorance is bliss mindset in terms of current events and politics. And I do that, guys, because, I have daughters. They're 12 and 13. I don't want to seek out negativity. I know the news is going to be negative. I know anything political is going to be negative. It's just like every day when you wake up, you get to choose your attitude or how you go about the day. I choose no. I choose not voluntarily bringing negativity into my world. So I am probably, to a lot of people, surprisingly ignorant when it comes to things going on in terms of current events, news, and politics. But that's very willful on my part, but I'm aware of it, which is why when I do a Navy Air Force game and I get a chance to talk to some of those young men before the game, they're the ones that especially impress me because, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to a service academy, you go for free, right? You're on scholarship, so to speak, but then you owe the government 5 years of time. You have to serve in the military, whether it's Air Force or Navy or Army or whatever, for 5 years. Well, what's different about the football players from most of the other cadets or midshipmen is a lot of these guys had full scholarship offers. They could have gone other places for free, yet they still chose to go to Navy or Air Force. I think a lot of the other kids, hey, it's a great opportunity. You get to go to college for free. Where else would they have that chance? And that makes sense to them. These guys, most of them, could have gone to college for free just because of football, and they still chose to go to Navy and Air Force. And so when you talk with them, before the game or during the week, it just makes you feel better about us moving forward as a country, as a society. Like, okay, like we're going to be okay. These are great kids. They're smart. They're dedicated. They're tough. They got a good head on their shoulders. We will have some people that can hopefully do a decent job running the country when we're older.
Absolutely. Well said, Ross. Hey, the Seahawks and Bucks, what a great game down to the wire. Has Baker Mayfield entered the discussion as one of your MVPs so far to this date?
I think he's the leader right now. It's funny because I thought last year he cemented himself as being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. There was some thought that maybe 2023 was an aberration, but he was even better last year with the new offensive coordinator and Liam Cohen in 2024, and now he's playing fantastic again. And with the amount of guys they've had to move around on the offensive line, and he hasn't played a game yet with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans to go along with their rookie sensation, Emeka Egbuka, it's extremely impressive. And I'll take it a step further, guys. Not only is he the front runner for MVP right now, he's a top 5 player for me to watch in the NFL. He is that entertaining. And I think you guys recognize after the last few years, I love people that love football. I have an intense passion for the sport. I kind of have a pretty intense passion for life. And man, Baker oozes that. I love every aspect of it that I see when he plays. He is so fun to watch, and I'm rooting for him.
Hey, what about the Eagles blowing a 14-point lead in that fourth quarter? What did you think of the Broncos? They could have tied it 17-17, went for the extra point. What did you think of that play?
Well, yeah, they went for 2, and I thought that was gutsy from Sean Payton. But I think Sean Payton's at a great point in his life where he is so established as a successful coach that he knows he can be aggressive. I think he knows to beat a team like that, you probably have to make some decisions that other guys are either unwilling or unable to make, including going for 2 in that situation, which changed the dynamic certainly for how the rest of the game played out. It puts the other team in a much more pressure-packed situation. I didn't think Bo Nix played great the first 3 quarters. Yeah. I was about to post, you got to play better than Bo Nix is in this game to beat the Eagles. Well, then he did. In the fourth quarter, then he did. The Eagles kind of got out of rhythm offensively, and Bo Nix heated up, and it's a super impressive win for the Broncos. The Eagles have been playing with fire for a few weeks there.
Hey, Ross, Amari DeMarcado, Arizona running back, about to score a touchdown. Let's go of it before the goal line. Touchback, no points. Big mistake. Goes to the sidelines, and he's confronted, and I think that's the right word, by head coach Jonathan Gannon, who gets physical with him. What's the worst transgression there, the coach or the player?
Well, I think it's the player, and I think it's the player because we just went over this. A.D. Mitchell, the wide receiver for the Colts, just did it last week. So I'm sure that Jonathan Gannon has gone ahead and has noted it multiple times to the team. Now, I'll give Gannon credit. Whatever that exchange was, it's hard to see exactly, what the contact was. It's not okay. And Gannon apologized to the team, apologized to DeMarcado, and mentioned that publicly as well. It's not okay for Gannon to handle it in that fashion. However, it's understandable, I think would be the best way to describe it, that he was that frustrated.
You didn't rip into Rick?
Yeah.
That's it for the segment. I'm shocked.
Great day. It's always a great day.
I gotta tell you, it was tough because Rick was kind of in a no-win situation, piggybacking my 5-minute ode to America and the service academies. You know what, though? He tried. He at least said, well said or here.
There
He
you
said
go.
something, right?
There you go.
He
Well
didn't
said.
just go right in
Yes.
to the Seahawks. So, Rick, salute. That was well done. That's about as well as you could do in a tough situation. So I encourage you to go to myfrontpagestory.com because if nobody else is going to order it for me to rip on you, and I didn't rip on you today, why don't you order one yourself, Rick, so I can rip on you that way? Myfrontpagestory.com.
Great idea.
Everything you say is well said. Ross, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, boys.